you notice that there was a pause in his run. We all understand that pause. That pause is that moment when we have to decide whether to give up or to keep on going. And in every situation, spiritually, emotionally, physically, and financially, there's going to come a time when it becomes uncomfortable. And when it becomes uncomfortable, you have to make a decision. Do I give up or do I keep on going? And the truth of the matter is that for so many even believers, now I'm not talking about those in the world, but for so many believers, what happens is that many people just simply give up. At that particular point, the video will be over for most of our lives. Many of us identify. It was over for me, Pastor. When I hit that roadblock in life, when I hit that place where it became uncomfortable, when I was tired of crying, and they divorced me, I got in the pink slip, and they walked away from me, and somebody I trusted had turned to be my worst enemy, and I found it out, I gave up. When the devil tried to put depression on me, I gave up. When I started my budget, I said I was going to start a budget, I was going to start saving, I was going to start having long-term and short-term goals, and all those things, I gave up when it became tough. I started out working out, Pastor, at the beginning of the year. I started out, made a New Year's resolution, say, I'm going to go lose 20 pounds just this year. Great goal, 20 pounds. But I started out that first month, January. And we start out strong. But we end up giving up when life gets tough for us. But you will never, ever realize the victory that God has given you if you don't continue along the way. Now, here's what I want to do. I want us to go through this outline with us real quick. Now, so let's turn our outline. If you have outline or handout, I want us to look at this. To look at how important it is for our bodies. How important it is. Jesus says in John 2:19. Y'all see it? Let's read it together. It says what? Jesus answered them and says, destroy this temple, and I will raise it again in 3 days. He said, destroy this temple, and I will raise it up 3 days. Now, those who were listening to Jesus, they thought he was talking about the physical structure of the temple. But you and I know that he was talking about his body. And so this particular sermon, we're going to talk about bodies. So let's look at the verses that our memory verse for this particular series, and then I'm going to show you some familiar faces and talk to you a little bit about those kind of things. All right? Let's look at the memory verses for this week. All right. The message for this third quarter is our bodies are God's greatest creation, and they matter to him. Let's say it together. What? Our bodies are God's greatest creation, and they matter to him. That after he had created heaven and earth, and separated the waters from the earth and all this stuff, and he ended that day on when he began to create man. He stooped down and dusted the earth, and he used the dust of the earth and some heaven, blew in the nostrils of man, and man became a living soul. His greatest creation is when he created our bodies. Amen. That's a good message. That God's greatest creation and greatest gift to you is the body that you're in. And when somebody gives you a gift, you say thank you to them. And that the gift is valuable by how you what? Care for it and treat it. All right? Now let's look at our verse. Our verse is going to be in 1 Corinthians chapter 6. And it's in the outline. Let's read it together. Y'all see it? Yeah. Let's read it. What did it say? Okay, it's not on the outline? Yeah. All right, it's on the outline. It's on the screen if you want to read it. All right, let's read it.
You were bought at a price. Therefore, honor God with your body.
Therefore, you are bought with a price. Therefore, what?